Super Formula Championship here at Autopolis Short, interestingly enough. Not the full Autopolis. Obviously we know how the tracks were decided this season. The drivers all had the opportunity to choose a track, and this one was Autopolis Short that was chosen. So we have Autopolis Short then. Qualifying is to start at 10:02 because of a delay in Group 3. So a delay to the Group 3 race finishing meant that we're now doing Super Formula. Now qualifying will start at 10:02. So, but how is things shaping up in the championship? Well, it's actually looking pretty interesting. We have Raiden still championship leader, not currently on the track, but with Fubuki only 8 points behind him. And even so, we've then got the rest of the field looking very, very close. The team's championship, the Northmen have taken back a 4-point championship lead over the Red Bull boys. So Northmen back on top of the team's championship. They're going to want to try and continue this championship lead that they have. Maybe extend it, or at least just try and hold it. Sub-minute lap times mean we will have a 30-lap race upon us. But the championship is all very interesting at the moment. So yeah, we have a championship, we have cars now come back onto the track. The championship is all going to be the same as usual. So the championship will be the same as it's usually been, but obviously this time with Raiden on top, only just ahead of Fubuki, and we then got the drivers close following up, all very close, especially in that midfield. It is very, very close. M3 guy, I believe, is covering for Honte. We do not have any competition on Race Day or Walter at the moment. They're not seemingly here, but you know, everyone else is. So yeah, Autopolis Short, the track after this then, as the first 4 races, has been some great racing so far. Bathurst is probably one of the best races we've had. But where are we at for Autopolis Short? You see, you'd think I'd know this, it's my championship in this long 10-race championship, obviously longest we've ever had in Israel. We are at the Autodromo Lago Maggiore in Italy for the next one. Just 1 week on. Hopefully it shouldn't be this late, but with Group 3 now starting at 5, we will potentially have to shuffle it back, but these races will still be around about now. Then we're obviously going to have a bit of a gap by the time we finish this, ready for one make or multi-class, whichever one it is on the week. One's going to be back. So obviously hope he's alright. We got M3 guy in 5th place at the moment. He is summing in for Honte. Raiden lad, he's back in action after Suzuka. Hopefully we can see him staying around. He's currently sat on 1 point at the moment. But Fraggins hasn't got any points on the board. 3 very disappointing results where he's just not got any points. Can he pick up some points? His teammate Lorenzi, after backing out of the lobby, lost 5 points when he was around in Bathurst. And we'll see how the relationship between Raiden and Lorenzi develops. It's one that's been catapulting. They've, in the first 3 races, 2 of them they have come together, so it'll be interesting to see that shaping up as Lorenzi drops a long way down the championship. Fubuki, like I say, he's in contention to take the championship lead back. Raiden didn't win, so Fubuki, who managed to take the victory in Bathurst after being spinning at the first corner. So it could all be very, very interesting to see how this one goes. And 3 guys sat in the pits. He raced over the last couple of seasons a full-time racer. He's now just the sub for obviously Honte. Brighton lad. Now the Autopolis race, which was the full Autopolis last season, was a very interesting race that saw Raiden have a horrific one and not score any points, and that basically still won Raiden the championship. But Raiden lad picked up the podium, which is something he's going to be wanting to replicate to get some good points on the board. The Toyota team down at the bottom of the championship, so they will be wanting to try and score some points back in this championship. and maybe claw their way up the tables. Hunty has a tendency to be in a team to the bottom of the tables, and it looks to be a tendency which continues on as Wright and Ladd now sits 4th place in this little bit of practice that we have before, with 10 minutes to go until the qualifying begins. So it could all be a very interesting race that we're going to have with us today. The midfield is one. No Walter, no Racete, interestingly enough. Walter Racing isn't really showing up. Mike Donna's joining us. Wittmann is here as well. So we're still missing a couple of drivers. We're missing Walter, Tay and Kuba. I think there are 3 drivers we're missing today's race. Hunty isn't. Walter said he might not be here. Tay gave no announcement, neither did Kuba, but you know, that's just the way it is. People just don't show up for these races because, you know, why would they? But as we go towards the end of qualifying, like I say, bit of a late start, but we're here now. We should hopefully go for a very interesting race here at Autopolis. These cars do actually go around the full track, however we are just, in real life, we are just deciding that we're just going to chop off the second half of the track. That whole final sector is just no more. We're just going to use the shop, of course. Obviously, yeah, like we say, someone decided this version over the other one could make for an interesting race, and if it's all good. And obviously we came to see an interesting race. However, interestingly, driver perception of the top 3 from the podium didn't think it would be an interesting racing, but at the Bathurst they says they could expect to see another Willow Springs type race. We're obviously going to hope against that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, as we keep saying over and over and over and over again. But as we just tick down, still got a couple of drivers that need to ready up. We currently have 11, so that's 10 people, so we're waiting on Mike Luckman and Fabuki to ready up, but they'll be back soon. The Northmen, they're here to try and defend their championship, but the Red Bull team are going to be here to try and stop them from extending their championship lead and beat them possibly in this race. Ruzi needs to get some good points on the board. He hasn't exactly had the most ideal start to the season, unlike Raiden, who has managed to finish in all 3 spots on the podium in this race so far. However, Franken's currently 2nd, 59.3. He's not looking too far off compared to recent performances, and 3 guy starts a lap time now, so we'll see how he goes through this one on this lap. The first corner is going to be a tricky one. We could possibly expect contact on this first corner. As they accelerate round, we go into the second corner. 5.4 seconds up on his time. That would put him 101, pretty much 101.4 there or thereabouts. As far as overtaking, I'm not 100% certain where the main overtaking spots will be turn 1 and possibly the final corner if we get a run, but it's also very easy for overtaking to go wrong. This track doesn't exactly favour overtaking the best, but we'll be seeing, and I'm sure these drivers will be very keen to make it support overtaking. As in Friga comes to the end of the lap, through the final corner. It's been a tidy lap. That's going to be the crucial thing, is being a tidy lap, keeping it on the track. And across the line he does set a 59.4, which puts him right up there with Hobart, and actually ahead of Wittmann is Luckman on the track. So it isn't qualifying, so we shouldn't get too excited about time, but just as an indication of the pace. And it could be an interesting race if we've got Wittmann down the order a bit with them. Frigg, I know our Fraggins further up. I think Raiden has got the fastest time at the moment, but the results, I mean, we haven't started qualifying to start in about 5 minutes, just to see, which will be obviously a 10-minute shootout to see who is the quickest, and to determine the grid. So Wittmann, P4, has got Luckman going slowly, so I think traffic, it's a short track, so I feel traffic could be a bit problematic here as we watch Wittmann come around, as we ride actually on board with Wittmann on the main straight. There's M3 guy just ahead. He improves his time, he does indeed improve his time to go a second bit more, and he's not on the track, so that'll be why it's second, not third. As Lorenzi comes into pits, the usual rules apply for the race, where they have to use 2 different sets of tyres. As to the tyre wear on this track, it's not really known how hard they will be pushed, the tyres, on their extremities, and seen how well the tyres be pushed. Obviously this league is known for some quite extreme tyre wear. Dale Parker, woohoo, boss commentator. Well, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Here we go then. I'm sure we could be in for a great race. Or at least I'd hope we're in for a great race, because that's what you walk in to see, isn't it? A good race. We don't want to be disappointed to the Super Formula, and being honest, well, Springs wasn't exactly a cracker, but Bathurst, a race which went down to the wire. In fact, the top four could all win the race at the end there. So very much an interesting race. And we're just waiting on confirmation on race day. There appears to be being problems in the Group 3 race, which is on the Discord kicking off, because of course it is. It usually does. I led the rest, so I was happy, but anyway, we haven't come to talk about the Group 3 race, we're to talk about the Super Formula race, which qualifying will get underway shortly. We're just going to watch women run around for a bit. So yeah, the next race then is Maggiore. Could be an interesting one as we approach the halfway point of the season. It would be the halfway point of the season here, but obviously we now have a 10-race season, a record-breaking season, longest season in Irish rail history across all leagues. But yeah, so. But it's going to be 10 races of pure excitement, and hopefully a championship will go down to the wire in Fuji. Overall, we got some more cars out ready, which should be good to go for the stuck check and then qualifying soon, just to check everyone is the grid. There's for Buki. We're just waiting on one person. I think we've got 10 today. It will be 10, yeah, because I'm not racing. So I think Nike Donna hasn't readied up. Obviously we'll wait for Nike Donna to ready up, and then we should be good to go. So check 2 minutes. There is your official confirmation by Raiden that the subcheck is in 2 minutes. But Raiden is the lobby host this season. I used to host the lobby, but then concerns over my internet as to whether it would be able to stream and host the lobby at the same time. So we've passed that burden on to Raiden. So thank you, thankfully. So commentators, we see Emperor Guy going off the track, turn 1, he then backs out of that one. As we watch Ruti go around in the Red Bull, he's going to want to pick up some points because his teammate Crinley looks to be carrying the team, and obviously with the Red Bull team now just dropping down to second, they're going to want to try and take that first place back. Like I said, we could be in for an exciting championship battle all the way down to the wire, as we see the Northmen and the Red Bull team, and we'll see Stone Age Motorsport can grab that one back as well and claw in some points, because obviously Nike Donna, there's a lack of appearances in the first couple of races, has set them on the back foot, but Nike Donna and Wittmann on our team is a very strong team, so it will be interesting to see if we can get this going. We are ready to go then for the stop check, simply just to see everyone can get off the line okay, and that we don't need to wait for anyone. As soon as stop check ends, quali begins. And qualifying is always fun on tracks tight like this. We have a very small 9-car grid at the moment. Nike Donna hasn't actually readied up. I don't know where Nike is. Lorenzi was starting on pole for the stuck check, but that could be as curse as much as it is a blessing. Pole position on a track like this, Qualifying could be quite crucial on a track where overtaking isn't easy. They go away then for the stop check. And away they charge into the first corner. And who's going to skittle who? Everyone gets skittled behind, and all but Lorenzi look to have escaped the gravel trap. In fact, no, all but Lorenzi hasn't escaped the gravel trap. Longman and Fabuki moved up to second and third though, so I mean that's a promising sign for these two that then just skate into the barrier, because you know braking is overrated these days. And that is that. There we go, the screw. So this should now mean that 10-minute qualifying is underway, although the cars have struggled to get out the pits, but they are now on the move. So let's watch qualifying, shall we? 10 mins qualifying. Lorenzi is the first onto the track, but then again, if he's not on softs, it's likely he will come into the pits. And so Lorenzi not on the soft, on medium, so he'll likely go into the pits, which means Luckman will be our first driver to go out onto the track, or at least the first person to set a lap time, and will put down the lap that they are all going to chase here in the Super Formula. So we'll see what lap as Lorenzi. Is he going to pit in though? Because I mean, it's very much possible he could qualify in mediums. Logically it wouldn't make sense because that would put him on the back foot, but he does dive into the pits, but he hits the barrier on the way in. So let's run on board then with Luckman through this first lap. The first person will be to set a flying lap under braking. Right and lad on the exit wants to keep it on the track. Oh, he's a bit over the grass there. That's not going to find him the quickest way through. Don't hit right and lad, who is letting you through into the second corner then. On the inside curb, try to accelerate round. It's not the ideal first sector, but it's the first, well, I mean this is the second sector now. Bit of a mistake on the first corner, but here he goes round now, and so that's that. Through he goes. Try not to go off the track there either. Into the final corner and a very quick lap. It comes at you quick. It comes out of you quick. At the final corner, what's it going to be for Luckman? It looked a bit of a sloppy lap. That could probably very easily be improved, but across the line, Luckman sets a 57.9. That's the time they're all going to have to chase. Raiden immediately beats that. Hobble Fraggins across the line, third. Vietman second. Fabuki crosses the line, fifth place. Lorenzi sixth, although he has changed his tyres, and third guy might be the next one to set a flying lap, and I think he will be. He comes across the line and he goes P6. Here's Ruti. Ruti will be the next one to set a flying lap. He's on an out lap. So Right and Lod is our next person to set the lap time. Well, it could be Wittmann. Not Wittmann, sorry. Lorenzi, who is now coming around. So it will be Lorenzi, then Right and Lod, then Ruti. I don't know why the order has gone like that. But it is currently Raiden who sits on provisional pole with Wittmann on the front row, Luckman in third place. Where can Lorenzi go? He looks like we caught him in a bit of a wobble there as we come around toward the end of the lap. In the middle section of the lap, a very small lap we have indeed. Does anyone improve on their time, or do they pit in? As Raiden comes out the final corner, here comes Luckman, he's in the pits, Wittmann and Raiden in, Wittmann, he goes in, Hobart Fraggins looks to continue, currently sat fourth place for Buki, he goes now fourth and onto the second row of the grid. Where is Lorenzi put himself? Lorenzi goes third, right onto the second row of the grid, so Fabuki drops back down to fifth, and I think there was a bit of an incident there as Luckman came out the pits and Lorenzi coming off in the lap, and he's gone out and there's contact because Luckman's got damage to the front, Lorenzi's got damage to the rear. There has been an incident there. Right and lad though, throughout everything, he's now starting the lap, and he's gone half a second up in his own time, which could improve his position. Lorenzi goes now fourth. Ruti manages to get into third place there. There's a strong lap from Ruti getting on to that second row of the grid then. So your order currently sees Raiden, Wittmann, Ruti, Lorenzi, Luckman, Fabuki, Reiten, Hobo, M3 guy at the back. Don't know where Nike is, but Hobo Fraggins, this is good news for him. He might bring home a point if he could finish this race. But he's only just behind Right and Lad. But Right and Lad is up quite a bit. 4 attempts, he could put him in a fifth. place here. 4 attempts, it'd be an improvement to get him possibly onto P5 and on the second row, and he does, and so very nearly behind Lorenzi. Reitenlaat is having one hell of a lap here. As here comes Luckman, P6, does he improve? He's obviously just started a lap. Fabuki's not improving either. Over Fraggins is trying to get out the way of Wittmann, and for Fabuki, who's coming through, so traffic looks to be causing issues as Wittmann goes chasing that half-second deficit between him and Raiden, and doesn't do so. Ruti in, Lorenzi in, Reitenlaat continuing on in the Toyota car, and only just behind Lorenzi. But I'm sure as Lorenzi now comes out of the pits, I'm sure he will want to make sure that can change, and that Lorenzi can make sure that that gap either gets bigger, or that Lorenzi can continue to move his way through the field and get onto maybe the front. He's been on the front row for the first 2 races. He hasn't had a pole position, but he has started second. The first 2 races he didn't start second. The last one, I can't remember whereabouts he started. I think he started third, but did get into the lead at the start of the race. So watch for Lorenzi then. He is a man to look out for. Ruti looks like he's just not had the season he would have wanted so far. Fabuki, the man who is only 8 points off Raiden in the championship, sits down now in 8th place actually. He's dropped behind him 3 high. So Fabuki, I'm sure, will want to try and change that. And he actually goes purple in the first sector. So that's a good start. So let's watch Fabuki around this lap then. I think we will be watching Fabuki then, as he was up purple in that first sector. But can he keep it like this and continue to go purple? The second Northman car, is he actually in contention for a possible pole position here? Or at least the front row where he started the last race, spun, and then still won the race. So it'll be interesting to see what Fabuki can do here. Up to the second sector split, he's a second up. That's not quite enough to take him onto pole or even the front row, I don't think. We'll see as his teammate gets on the front row. But Wittmann immediately beats him back out. Fabuki crosses the line, and Fabuki gets the front row of the grid now. But still 3 tenths off Raiden. But it now goes Raiden, Wittmann, Raiden, Fabuki, Wittmann, Luckman and Ruti. So our 2 teams that are fighting for the team's championship are all up at the front. Lorenzi, he's going to want to claw the points back that he lost in the last race. And across the line, he now gets back on the front row, and he's very close to Raiden, who starts the lap. He suddenly knows his pole is not secure, and there is a possible problem here for Raiden for pole position. Lorenzi, who's been on the front row for the first 2 races. Fabuki was on the front row last time. Raiden, I think, was up in his first sector split. I don't know about Lorenzi, but what can Fabuki do to get back in the front row? Can Wittmann improve? Wittmann looks like he's about to come across the lap. It looks very close here, and this could usually means we have a good race in our hands, as Wittmann powers out the final corner, but backs out of that one to go to the pits. Fabuki also in the pits. Lorenzi and Raiden then. Does Raiden finish the lap, or is he going to the pits? Well, we're about to see as he comes to the second sector. He's 3 temps up, Lorenzi. He's 2 temps down, so it's looking good for Raiden here. A purple middle sector and across the line to go 4 tenths on his time. Lorenzi backs out into the pit lane. So Raiden secures his own pole position now. But I'm sure these guys are all going to be chasing, knowing they can get on the front row. Ruti is delivering what he needs to do at the moment for the Red Bull in 6th place, whilst Reitenlaat in 7th looking strong as well. And 3 guy in 8th place, the 2 Toyotas running close to each other, and Otto Fraggins in 9th, which is currently last, but it's still the top 10, which is probably what he'll be targeting this season. So Lorenzi on an outlap, Fabuki on an outlap, Wittmann on an outlap, and Luckman on a flying lap as we head into the final 2 minutes. They're all going to get another lap, but it'll be interesting to just keep an eye on them. Let's see what Luckman does. He's a 10th down on his time. Wittmann looks like he's about to start his lap. Lorenzi isn't, so Wittmann then will be the first to start a flying lap, and here he goes then, behind one of the Toyotas, possibly, and that's Reitenlaat, which is going through there, into the first corner. And it is Reitenlaat, there's the first corner, and Raiden into the pits. What's Wittmann in the first section, headed on the track on the first corner, which is effectively the first sector. He's ever so slightly down on his own teammate, but these are the fine margins that the drivers will be looking for to find that advantage over everyone else. Let's see what we've got now. So we cut to Luckman, who is following his teammate Fabuki, who's currently sat in 3rd. Lorenzi's just started a lap. Is he up in the first sector? Well, we're about to find out if he is. He is purple in sector 1. Lorenzi is purple in the first sector. Where's Wittmann? He's a 10th up, that could get him into 3rd, but will it get him any higher? Where's Fabuki? He's coming around now. It's Fabuki up in his time. Fabuki is 3 tenths up, but Wittmann crosses the line, and he does go P3, only just ahead of Fabuki, who could immediately retaliate. He was up in the 2nd sector. Is he up at the end of the lap? Yes, he is, and it's the front row. Fabuki gets himself back on the front row, across the line. Luckman 6.8 seconds down. I think he's gone off somewhere there. So where's Lorenzi coming around the final corner now to challenge back for that second front row? I think there was a bit of curbage usage there. A bit too much possibly. He improves, but not to change his position. Currently 3rd, so now they'll all be embarking on their last lap. So is Raiden about to start the last lap? He has just started his last lap. Fabuki's on the last lap. Lorenzi's on his last lap. Wittmann, Reitenlad is on his last lap. Luckman is dropped down to 8th place, so I don't know if they've all improved or what, but Luckman down in 8th, so Reitenlad looks like he's about to finish. Wittmann looks like here he is around 4th, around the final corner, will be the first of the front runners to complete the lap as qualifying is over. But what does Wittmann do? He does not improve. So the next one then, it's one of the Northmen, it's Fabuki, not improved. Here comes Lorenzi, where's Luckman in 5th, he's still going. Wittmann backs out of that one, so here's Lorenzi. It's about Raiden, he's still going as well, so it's between Raiden and Lorenzi that could fight for pole position. What's Lorenzi going to do at the final? I think he's backed out of it. He has backed out of it, so Raiden takes pole position no matter what happens now, and he improves his own time. But it is Raiden from Fabuki, from Lorenzi to Wittmann. Luckman is about to cross the line, but on an outlap he obviously can't go. Reitenlad 6th. 7th Fruity, 8th over Fraggins, and 9th place then 3 guy, though he's in the pit, so I don't know what's happened to him as Night Donner now joins the grid, so he'll be starting last. So that could be an interesting race from Night Donner, but it is Raiden who takes another pole position. 4 consecutive pole positions now, but can it be his 3rd win of the season? Or will it be Fabuki's 3rd win of the season? Both Fabuki and Raiden have won twice this season. Nobody else... No, sorry. Fabuki's won twice and is the majority race winner for the first time. It's not Raiden at the moment, but all could change with a long season. And another driver that will be hoping for a win is Lorenzi from 3rd. He's going to want to try and get a win that he feels he could have had so many times by now. Wittmann, another driver that you can't really count out for a podium. What can Luckman do from 5th? Number 5 starting 5th. They've leading the team's championship. They've obviously got 2 drivers that can do well, but can Luckman get on the podium? And I'm sure he'll think it's possible. But so will Wittmann, Lorenzi, Fabuki and Raiden will also think it's possible to get on the podium. Raiden on the mediums then. Fabuki looks like he's committing to the softs. Lorenzi on the mediums, Wittmann on the softs. Luckman on the mediums, Reitenlad on the softs, Ruti on the softs, Hobo on the softs, Nike on the hards, and M3 guy on the mediums. A bit of a mixed strategy then, and the front runners, Fabuki and Wittmann, watch them off the start on the softs. The Northmen have split their strategy for the start, with Luckman on the mediums and Fabuki on the softs. So we'll see what happens. We've seen time and time again, the softer tyres tend to have an advantage at the lights. So here we go then. Raiden does lead from pole position with Fabuki 2nd, Lorenzi rounding out the top 3. The usual suspects at the front. Raiden and Fabuki are fighting for the championship lead right now. The other drivers aren't miles away, but they'll want to try and make sure they can get points. Raiden has the inside line. And it's lights out, and away we go. Out to start from everyone on the front row. Bit of wheel spin from some of the cars. And goes Raiden getting a bit of wheel spin. Lorenzi looks to have immediately pulled alongside, and Lorenzi looks to get down the inside. Goes Lorenzi to take the lead. Raiden fights back though. Wittmann drops to 3rd. Fabuki getting a bit of a wobble on, and suddenly that's M3 guy off in the background. M3 guy off, but how's it up at the front? Raiden does hold the lead. Ahead of Lorenzi, led of Wittmann. He's managed to pull away. Fabuki and Luckman dropping down to 4th. And Fabuki goes off. Fabuki makes an error. Luckman is slowing down as well then, and so it's all chaos at the front. And now suddenly Night Donner's gotten up in a 5th, so it's a good start from him. But Raiden leads Lorenzi, and now Wittmann's going to try and get around the outside of Lorenzi. Reitenlad out of all this has ended up in P4. But here we go then. Wittmann G chasing down Lorenzi and Raiden. Wittmann starting on the softs, due in front of him on the medium, so you'll have a tyre advantage for now. as Fabuki on the mediums actually in the end of it all, not the soft tyres. They weren't splitting their strategy. But there's Ruti. Say we go then. What we got overall, we've got Raiden who leads Lorenzi, but only by a small margin, just 3 tenths, just 2 tenths. It's a fluctuating gap. These two have come together many times fighting for the win. They came together in Suzuka. They came together in Bathurst. Will they do the same together here as Lorenzi looks for our first win? Is this going to be the one as Lorenzi chases Raiden down? But whatever he does, he's got Wittmann right behind him. Raiden Lad's doing a great job forwards. Fabuki is back into 5th place, and Anaiku is on the hards. Hobo up into 7th place, and Ruti dropping to 8th, and Luckman down in 9th, with them 3 guys already pitting in off his tyres. So here we go, we got Wittmann all over the back of Lorenzi. He goes to the outside. Is Wittmann going to get around the outside of Lorenzi? He tries it there, but that's not quite enough. And Lorenzi does stay in that 2nd place now, as we see these two battling it out, heading onto the main straight. Already a 2-second gap for the top 3, and Reitenlot's got a bit of a gap to 5th place, so he's running incredibly well now here, and the top 3 are starting to pull away, which you would expect them to at this stage. But can Wittmann use these softs? He needs to, if he wants to try and get ahead on the soft tyres. He's going to have to do it soon before the tyres go off, and look how close they are, all within half a second of each other. And now Wittmann, who is trying to get around the outside there. Does he try and switch to the inside? Wittmann gets down the inside. And is this going to be a move on? Wittmann does try to get to the inside. Lorenzi powers it around the outside. This is going to be enough as Lorenzi switches to the inside for the next corner. Lorenzi holds 2nd. And an amazing wheel-to-wheel battle we're having right now up at the front as Wittmann now chases, still chasing Lorenzi for that 2nd place, but he's not quite enough. Wittmann seems desperate to get ahead. Raiden is just controlling, he's not breaking away though. He is not breaking away from this race. We've got Fabuki in 4th place, who has managed to get ahead of Raiden Lad, who I think might have had an error because he's suddenly dropped down to 7th. Ruti in 8th, 9th place Luckman. The crucial battle will be between Northmen and Red Bull for the team's championship, and if Red Bull don't win this race, that helps Northmen, who are running 4th and 9th. And Red Bull are running 1st and 8th, so the advantage probably sits with Red Bull. I don't know how many points that Red Bull are gaining over Northmen, but at the moment the advantage is with the Red Bull team, and so that's obviously going to need to change. And so as Fabuki's going to be wanting to chase down those leaders there as Wittmann, he's down very, very close to the back of Lorenzi. Is this going to be enough for Wittmann to get ahead on this occasion? He's been trying a lot in the first 4 laps here as Wittmann desperately looks to the inside again. No, he does not quite. Lorenzi's keeping behind. They seem to just be pacing themselves, not trying anything stupid, getting a bit squirrely onto the exit there, and that's allowed them to split open a little bit, and a gap has formed between Wittmann and Lorenzi, allowing Lorenzi, who is using some of his overtake a bit more than Raiden, as he looked almost to go to the outside there, but Raiden has him covered off yet again on this occasion. Lorenzi running very wide. Can Lorenzi take the lead of this race here on lap 5 out of 30? We've got a fair ways to go in this race, but it's still looking cracking so far. Meanwhile, in the back, we've got Nightdonner, Reitenlot, Oberfragens, Ruti, and Luckman relatively close. In fact, is Ruti going to be able to get past Oberfragens here to the inside? He's not quite going to have that one. Not quite just yet. But there is Ruti, still just behind Oberfragens. Oberfragens in the sense he's obviously going to want to get some points on the board to help his teammate in the championship for them as the EcoBoost. All their points have come from this man, Lorenzi, as he gets to the inside. Raiden goes a bit deep in the final corner. Lorenzi goes to the inside. They still wheel to wheel, heading onto the main straight. It's a drag race at the moment, but Raiden tucks in behind, and Lorenzi has the lead. But for how much longer as Raiden goes to the outside? And around the outside, looks like Raiden's going to have to commit because Lorenzi has the inside line, but then makes it around, and Raiden swoops around the outside of the first corner. What a move from Raiden to retake the lead, but now Lorenzi, who had a taste of the lead, now he's still holding that outside line. And all this is allowing Fabuki to get closer as Wittmann's tyres aren't actually that far off the wear of the mediums from the cars in front or Fabuki. So those softs don't look to be degrading as quickly here. Is the tyre degradation lower than we've previously experienced? I think it might be in the last couple of races. We've had like 5 or 6 pit stops from the drivers this time, and if that was the case, they would have pitted by now, but no one has done. So have they overcompensated for the tyres going on the medium and hard? Is the soft a viable option as Wittmann's discovering they're not going off by too quickly at all? So as we see these three still running in formation, still running up first, second, third positions that they've been in pretty much since the start, with Fabuki in the background there trying desperately to catch up and get on the podium. Luckman has gone up into 8th places, so he actually ahead of Ruti, and that could be a crucial battle as the Northern driver of Luckman has gotten ahead of Ruti in the Red Bull. That could be crucial. As we keep saying, those two teams are split by 4 points. The Northmen come into this round leading the championship on 80. The Red Bull team are on 76. So with Luckman getting ahead of Ruti, that could help massively. As here comes Wittmann trying to make a move on Lorenzi. All he's battling behind, he's allowing Raiden to build up some sort of a gap. It's not a major gap as Wittmann comes to the inside. Is it going to be enough for Wittmann? Yes, it's not yet. It's not quite here. As here we go then. Onto the main straight we go, but look for Book, he's actually closed down about half a second on that lap. He's now just within 2 seconds. So for Book, he's getting ever closer yet again. There's Nike Donner, Wittmann's teammate, just down the back of the main straight there. I bet in the back of the picture he was not anymore, obviously, as we speak. But Wittmann's still chasing Lorenzi. He's still very much over the back of Raiden. And I think Lorenzi might go for it around the outside. That's not quite enough as he accelerates away, trying to get to the inside. He's very close here, nose to tail. Stuff here as Lorenzi tries to find a way past Raiden. And is it going to be enough here? He's accelerating, and it's not quite enough. And all of a sudden, Fabuki catches up. He gets ever closer the more these drivers battle, and so that's not going to be helping anyone at this stage. As Wittmann, he's got Lorenzi, who's got Raiden, and he goes a bit deep. Raiden goes a bit deep into the hairpin there, but still holds the lead. All these tiny little errors as Wittmann's in. So Wittmann does dive into the pits. That looked like a very late decision from Wittmann, but that alleviates the pressure from Lorenzi, who now focuses solely on an attack and not a defence. On the outside, does he try to get a switchback? I think he tries, but it's not enough there. Wittmann then, what tyres does he come out on? The soft tyres again. And in fact, someone's round. Someone who's round, and it's Fabuki who has gone round. And that moves Nike Donner into third. And that might harm Fabuki's chances as he's now a pit stop down and right on Wittmann, because Wittmann's just come out the pits. He's already heading on soft tyres, and he's only 10 seconds behind. So these new soft tyres are going to be gaining on these two. So is this an undercut him? How do the top two respond? Does Raiden and Lorenzi decide to pit to cover off the undercut before you get into too much of a margin? Well, we're about to find out. Do they pit in? How do they respond to Wittmann throwing down the challenge of an undercut? Fabuki now under pressure, but what are they doing? Raiden darts in, Lorenzi does not, and that is an interesting decision as Lorenzi continues going on. Donner, does he pit? He's on the hard, so he's going to be going long. His teammate is running on the softs and fighting for the win. In fact, that's in the background. That is Fabuki and Raiden lad, and Raiden comes out now just ahead of Wittmann. Wittmann's ahead of Raiden, so Wittmann has done the undercut on Raiden, and that's provisionally now in the lead. And I think if Wittmann closes in on Nike Donner, who is in second and ahead because Nike Donner hasn't stopped yet, I think the sensible thing for Stone Age Motorsport would be to swap their cars around with on different strategies in different battles at the moment, possibly even to use Nike Donner to hold Raiden up a bit just to aid Wittmann's ascent on battle as Raiden has come out now on the soft tyres. Does he switch the inside? This very close, but Nike Donner doesn't look like he's going to be getting out of the way anytime soon, and so it's going to be a fight for it. Lorenzi continues on. No one's using a headset. How far behind? Only 8.3 seconds. Wittmann was further away from Raiden, so as it stands, it looks like as Wittmann tries to get to the inside of his teammate, that's not quite enough. It looks like as it stands, Lorenzi's going to come out in third place and with a bit of a margin to him. How far into this race can Nike Donner go to make it a one-stop? Wittmann's hand is forced onto a two-stop. Raiden, I highly doubt, will be making the softs go to the end of the race. The chances of that are unlikely as Wittmann looks to try and get to the inside Nike. Is he losing time? It's hard to say he is, to be honest. but I think Lorenzi might be going for a one-stop here. If he continues on again, I think it's very much possible that Lorenzi could try a one-stop. This could be the first race with a one-stop. He's not feared by the fact that they've pitted in already, although a late charge, and Lorenzi does come in, and Raiden gets ahead of Night Donner and Wittmann, and we missed that there as Night Donner gets a bit taily, continuing on, and Wittmann gets ahead of him, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lorenzi comes out in 4th place. Where is Lorenzi? Out of the pits, behind Wittmann, behind Raiden, behind Night Donner, rather crucially now. So Wittmann has jumped, Lorenzi in the pits, and Night Donner goes round, Night Donner round, and that is problematic for him. Where's Fabuki? Is Fabuki going to come around for him? As Night Donner tries to recover on the exit turn 1, I wonder if there was contact there. There might have been contact. Either way, there's a bit of a gap starting to emerge between those three then, as Night Donner loses the position to Raiden, or will he? No, he's not quite. Raiden wasn't quite close enough. The softs versus the hards. Ruti was also on the hards, and he's continuing to go on those hards as Raiden tries to go around the outside, and Night Donner on the hards. That's not quite enough, as Night Donner spins it up again, so Night Donner another mistake, and that has allowed Raiden to go through on that one. Meanwhile, we've got Raiden, Lorenzi, and Wittmann still very close. Raiden continues to lead. M3 guy getting out of the way, doesn't want to get himself involved in this one, as he's not supposed to, but Lorenzi gets to the inside on the softs, and he's on the inside of Wittmann, and Lorenzi, does he find his way past? Yes, he does. He's ahead of Raiden into the 2nd place, and he immediately tries to go to the inside, but Raiden covers him off, and Wittmann finds the inside, but not quite enough. Lorenzi looked like he was going to try an inside move there, but Raiden immediately went to cover that one off. He is not letting him down, and these three have been battling for it all race. And here comes Lorenzi to get around the outside. Is this going to be quite it? Not quite enough. Wittmann is backing up, but here comes Lorenzi, very fuming after that, I'm sure, as he got covered off there. As Lorenzi tries to get around the outside, he switches to the inside though, and what a move to the inside. Lorenzi takes the lead, but is Raiden going to have it back? Both cars use the overtake button, and Lorenzi has used nearly 3/4 of it. Raiden pulls to the inside. Can Lorenzi defend? Raiden pulls to the inside, and to the inside he goes, and ahead of Lorenzi, but Lorenzi holds it around the outside, and Lorenzi's on the grass, and now that's Wittmann going straight back through. So Lorenzi has now just gone from 1st to 3rd in the matter of a corner, and it'd be interesting to see how this affects him. Will he have felt like he's just been pushed off the track there? This race is just pure chaos. Where is Luckman at? He's down in 9th place. Well, I think it's just he has pitted, and I think most of the cars that pitted onto a set of softs, knowing the tyre deck isn't as bad as first 4. Lorenzi might not go for a one-stop, as here comes Lorenzi around the outside. I doubt he'll be able to get the one-stop to the end of the race. I doubt anyone will be on the one-stop, but Lorenzi's tyres are fresher than that of Raiden or Wittmann, so that would explain why he's suddenly all over him. So him staying out longer has allowed him to get very close onto them all now, as he's actually lost 1.4 seconds to Raiden, so he's lost time behind Wittmann. But suddenly Oda gets back to the way it was previously, as in the background we've got Ruti going into the pit, Thomas Flaggins, and then Night Donner, who did pit after his mistake on the softs. So literally everyone is pitting in and onto soft tyres because they're quick and they're effective. They can last in this race, unlike most other races. Although as Ruti's on the medium, so he'll be going longer and possibly even as far into this race as he can do. As for Buki, Night Donner actually now holds the fastest lap, as Lorenzi quickly chases down Raiden. So yeah, Lorenzi chasing down Raiden for the win, and he's gaining on him, but I don't think he's gained by enough, so they've appeared to have just calmed down a bit now. Buki in 4th place with M3 guy, who's next person to lap, and 3 guy will be Fabuki. But Lorenzi's within a second, he's got closer, he's only 7 tenths behind him. Wittmann starts to drop off in the background. Wittmann was the first to pit, so his tyres are the oldest out of all these. Lorenzi was the last to pit. He went on a couple of laps before deciding to cover off the Raiden and Wittmann from the undercut. He didn't choose to cover them off. He felt like the fresher tyres would have given him enough to overtake, and he'd have thought he could have been ahead by now. The strategy from the monstrous EcoBoost team, is it going to be enough for them to win this race, the Ford team here. Around the final corner, is he going to? How does he accelerate onto the main straight? Here we go then. Power foot to the floor now, in the slipstream. 6 temps back. He's going down. It's going down in the slipstream there. And Wittmann's done it again. He might have triggered another chain reaction to undercut. Wittmann does have to go onto a different set of tyres. He's been on softs the whole race, and he's on another set of softs as Reitenlard goes down the main straight now behind Wittmann. So he's very much surrendered any chance getting past immediately, but as Wittmann on the first set of softs, he's going to probably go first lap at the same time as that. And so is Lorenzi's very close to the back now, very close to the back of Raiden for the win. I'm sure at some point this will be getting personal between these two, who had their tensions, I'm not going to lie to you, but here we go then, half a second back. Does Lorenzi go for a move here? He's tried to move before here and it has worked. He doesn't do it on this occasion. He's waiting out instead for the main straight where he's half a second back. He's closer this time though than he was last time, but I don't think he's still yet close enough to go for the overtake into the first corner. He's very much not close enough for an overtake into the first corner there. Into his second corner. He's got closer, he's 2 temps back, but it's not quite close enough yet. So Lorenzi's just waiting for his opportunity, sitting by, watching his prey before pouncing on him to go for that lead. And I'm sure the next time he takes the lead, he'll want to keep it for the remainder of this race, because I'm sure he's going to want to win this race, because he hasn't actually won a race despite being in contention to win multiple races. It just hasn't gone his way. Penalties and other things and incidents have just caused him to just not win, to be honest. As here we go then, out the final corner, he's got very close, but now he's only 2 temps back. It's as close as he's been for a while. Now does he go for the move? Now is Raiden going to feel like he needs to go defensive and cover off him? In fact, he's gaining, so I wonder if Raiden was using some of his overtake down the main straight to defend. You can do that, of course. It says overtake. You can do it to defend, as Wittmann does grab the fastest lap at 56.5 there. Take that one from Mike Donner. Despite pitting in a couple of laps ago, Lorenzi and Raiden haven't. Hello SVR Gaming and welcome. We say Wittmann has pitted in and he's triggered he triggered the undercut on the first pit stop. So I think there was a bit of tyre smoke coming up from Raiden there, but Lorenzi and Raiden haven't fallen for it this time. They haven't pitted, and suddenly Wittmann's getting closer. So this could work to Wittmann's advantage when they do pit, because I can't imagine them going to the end of this race. Does Lorenzi's Raiden goes a bit deep. Lorenzi tries to cover him off there and he accelerates away, but is this going to be enough? It's not quite enough. 4 temps, and he's actually losing out, but not quite fully though. And Raiden's tyres look only slightly bit worse for wear. Raiden's doing a great job of conserving his tyres, so not only is he quick, but he can keep his tyres last while doing it. But Wittmann sits now just 7 seconds behind these two and has just lapped 2 seconds quicker. He is about 2 seconds a lap quicker on these fresh tyres, and he's only going to get quicker as the race goes on and the longer that they stay out, because their tyres will go down, and so he's probably got to get even quicker. So as Lorenzi, here we go then, a bit of a squirrel there from both of them as they wobble the car around. So I wonder if that was them starting to struggle on the tyres. Are they going to realise that with 10 laps to go they need to pit in at some point? Suddenly Lorenzi getting very close and he might be setting up a move. He goes to the outside as Raiden defends the inside, brakes and then tries to come to the inside, and that's not quite enough. That's not quite enough. Here we go then. Here comes Lorenzi in the slipstream. 4 temps back, but he's losing out on him on this occasion. So does Raiden use the overtake, or a bit of the overtake, as he starts to lose out? But Wittmann is now 4 seconds in, and so he is quicker. 2 seconds a lap quicker than these two at the front. And so the longer they stay out, the bigger the advantage that Wittmann will have when they do pit. So basically, them staying out battling is just allowing Wittmann to carry on leading this race. Wittmann is not out of it, because they will both have to stop. Although Wittmann will also have to stop, because he will need to pit onto something other than softs, because he needs to, by rules. I'm pretty sure he started on the soft tyres and has remained on the soft tyres since the start, obviously changing them, but he hasn't pitted onto it. He hasn't been on a different tyre that isn't the softs at the moment. Vit knows, Dad, yep, Vit knows it's very much a possibility. Oh, and Raiden! Gone! Raiden's completely lost at the final corner, and he's gone off and he's spun. Lorenzi goes in, Wittmann's in again, and Raiden comes in. But Raiden making a mistake, and is that the mistake Lorenzi was waiting for? As he now goes on to lead this race, Fabuki comes out second, just behind Lorenzi. Wittmann now in third place, on fourth place Raiden. Wittmann on the medium tyres then, so he's gone on to the mediums. Now Raiden, is they going to get to the end? I'm sure they'll be able to get to the end. Interesting then, as Lorenzi now leads Fabuki out of absolutely nowhere. He's come up into second, Wittmann G into third. Raiden has just lost the lead of this race, but can he get it back? Wittmann has got the 8 laps on the mediums versus 8 laps of softs, and 8 laps of softs from Lorenzi. Fabuki's one softs might cost him a podium here, as he's going to obviously start losing time to Wittmann, and he does, who might in turn be losing time to Raiden, who's going to be driving with anger after a mistake that has cost him the potential win here. It's greater than the lead that could have possibly been the win, as Fabuki's going to try everything to close into Lorenzi, and he actually is closing in a bit on the straight, as Lorenzi's really drained his overtake button. This has all kicked off late on in the race, but he backs out in the end and the gap goes back up again. Wittmann gets closer, Raiden's still getting closer, but can Fabuki get on the podium? This is for the championship as well, with Fabuki second and Raiden fourth. If it finishes like this, then Raiden would only be 2 points ahead of Fabuki in the Drivers' Championship, and I'm pretty sure that the Northmen would extend an advantage in the Teams' Championship over the Red Bull drivers. So suddenly for the championship, Fabuki's going to only be behind by 2 points. I didn't really factor in the fact that Raiden could have extended the championship lead as Fabuki was down the order, but suddenly as Wittmann tries to catch up to Fabuki, but he's struggling. 9 tenths for Raiden to cover his championship lead, and Fabuki does pit in, so Fabuki into the pits then, but he's going to be very quick now onto what I could only assume would be a set of the soft tyres. But does Raiden get ahead? He's been looking strong this tonight as well. He might just get ahead. It's going to be close between these two, and Raiden does get ahead, so Fabuki on a fresh set of softs has come out now behind Raiden lad. And suddenly Fabuki switch to the inside? Fabuki goes to the outside, and so Raiden, who is now, as it stands, in fourth place, the championship lead will go up by 2 points at the moment, so Raiden will extend an advantage to 10 points over Fabuki for the championship, and Wittmann and Lorenzi will suddenly start closing in for this championship. Could get very close after this race. We still have a long way to go this season, but Fabuki's now going to be very fast on a set of softs. Raiden does have the fastest lap at 55.8. That fastest lap has traded hands multiple times, but what can Fabuki do? 9.2 seconds. We'll be checking back on that as he's got 5 laps now to get to the end of this race, as Raiden tries to go around the outside. Wittmann's going to try and stay ahead. These two have gone wheel to wheel on many an occasion throughout this Super Formula Series, and they go wheel to wheel. Sometimes it's for the win, this time it's for second, as Raiden goes to the inside, and Raiden gets down the inside under braking and takes that second place. Now Raiden goes hunting for Lorenzi then, but Fabuki goes hunting for Wittmann G. So 5.3 seconds. Raiden and Lorenzi, 6 laps in this Grand Prix, and who will come out on top? Raiden needs to be setting some absolutely blistering pace. The last lap 56.5 versus a 56.6. Lorenzi was a tenth slower. That won't be enough. If it's only a tenth slower per lap, will not be enough for Raiden to catch. On that occasion, 56.9, 57.1, so it's only 2 tenths. So Raiden is quicker, but I don't think it's quicker by enough. Fabuki is going to be lapping at 55.9, a 58.3, 3 seconds quicker. Fabuki's chance of getting a late podium and salvaging points from Raiden is very much possible. And if he can actually catch up, 56.9, 55.9, he was a second quicker than Raiden as he goes purple now. So Fabuki is the fastest man on the track right now, and so that could even give him a possible ability of overtaking Raiden, who is currently his championship rival. But as Raiden goes hunting down Lorenzi tries to get himself into that championship fight. What can Fabuki do? Second in the championship. He's going to want to try and get close to Raiden so he doesn't lose too many points, or even beat him. so that he doesn't lose any points and actually gains over him. I'm sure that Fabuki's going to be thinking of this now. We could see Fabuki versus Raiden in this championship as they come around the final corner. Does Fabuki actually go quicker? He does go again a 54.9 versus a 57.3 versus a 56.7, so he is still the quicker man out of the top. Out of the top 5, Fabuki is the quickest. Lorenzi was actually only 7/100ths of a second slower than Raiden, so I don't think Raiden's going to be able to have it in him. They've been so evenly matched all race. The mistake is what was needed for them to change hands, and it's a mistake that looks like it could have cost Raiden the win. And after 4 races, Raiden has only won 1 of them, which is very interesting stats. It shows how competitive the field is this season, as Fabuki gets within 4 seconds and a purple sector, not quite 1/10 down on his own time, but he's still going to be quicker than anyone in front of him. In fact, most of the people behind him. And in fact, he is indeed the quickest man on track right now. For current times, it's not quite enough for the fastest lap overall. He's not able to beat the 55.8 benchmark that Raiden has set. But what is going to happen? Vimmen might have to pit for fuel. In fact, fuel is a factor here. The fuel stop, is it going to be enough to get them to the end? Have they even made a fuel stop this race? If they haven't, then they might have to. Raiden Lard's got Night Donner quickly bearing down on him. He's over a 1.5 seconds. He's about a 1.5 seconds quicker than him. So here we go then. Here's Fabuki chasing all down as Lorenzi continues to lead, about 5 seconds ahead of Raiden as Lorenzi goes on to the penultimate lap of the race now. With Vimmen G in 3rd place chasing down Raiden, but he's losing time to him, and he's losing time to Fabuki with 2 laps to go. Fabuki's got 3 seconds to gain on Vimmen and to get onto that podium. It is all going to be on the line here between these two. Lorenzi's actually pulled out a gap, and in fact Raiden has lost time. So was there an error as he runs off the track again, and he has a bit of a moment there? Is there a bit of an error here? 1.5, that gap's going down quite rapidly. He's lost a lot of time as Raiden. Another error. Is this just a track that's just Raiden's Achilles heel in Super Formula? Obviously last season he had a horrific race where he didn't even score a point, and now he might lose the position to Vimmen. As he goes round, he makes a mistake, and as he goes round, he is off! Raiden goes off, and now does Fabuki get ahead of him? Yes, he does. Fabuki now gets ahead, and that is crucial, as Fabuki now is ahead of his championship rival, as Raiden is not even on the podium right now. Fabuki onto the final lap, on the penultimate lap of the race. Raiden made a mistake which might have just cost him a podium, and for the championship this is one hell of a race. This could be absolutely crucial. Lorenzi now has an 8-second margin to Vimmen, to Fabuki, who is in 3rd place, who's got 2.5 seconds to his championship rival Raiden. Now as it stands, I believe there will be 5 points between Fabuki and Raiden after this, if I'm not mistaken, at the top of the tables, and Vimmen will have closed in dramatically on that championship fight, and Lorenzi will have gained like a lot of points on Raiden there, about 13 points, but he missed out on a race win in Suzuka due to a penalty. He took the checkered flag, but a penalty gave him lose him the win, and in Bathurst a mistake. But here he is, Lorenzi wins in Super Formula. Vimmen G looks to bring it home in 2nd place, and Fabuki in 3rd. He was getting so close to Vimmen, crucial for the championship this race, as Raiden drops to 4th, not even on the podium, and for the first time this season Raiden hasn't finished on the podium. Raiden Lard is in 5th place, only just ahead of Night Donner, but this could be a strong race from Raiden Lard as well. Well, the race is Night Donner as well, from 9th to 6th, another strong race. Night Donner gets a bit wobbly. Raiden 5th, Night Donner 6th, 7th place, oh no, 7th, Logman gets him on the last corner, but Hobo fights back as they go side by side. Now it's going to be a photo finish to the line. Hobo Frank's picking up his 1st points in dramatic style, 7th place by 0.061. Lookman 8th, Ruti in 9th place, and in 10th place is M3 Guy. But what a race, and well done to Lorenzi, who finally grabs his 1st win in these races. We've done 4 races, 3 different winners, and Fabuki's won 2 of them. There it is then, a strong race from Lorenzi from 3rd to 1st, and this time it's stuck. what a dramatic end to the Super Formula race yet again. It just seems to be a thing that is happening now. So there is your official results then. Only 10 drivers, but that didn't really change the fact that it was a great race. We had Lorenzi, Wittmann, Fabuki, Raiden, Reitenlad, McDonough, Boba Fraggins, Luckman, Ruti and M3 guy Raiden getting the fastest lap on lap 23. So we shall do the usual interviews that we do. There's a second. I don't know if Lorenzi will join us, but this... It's not Raiden. We've got... Where's Fabuki? I can't find Fabuki. Don't know if Fabuki's even appearing online, which might make things a bit difficult. Alright, hang on a minute. There we go then. They've been invited. Right on, lad. Right on, lad. Right. Another great race then, but we'll see if they actually join. I'm not sure if they will, but you know. Oh well, was a great race as usual. Actually, I should probably take a screenshot of the results. Well, Lorenzi won't be joining us. Wittmann's left the lobby. Hello, Fabuki.
Hello.
I don't know if... Yeah. Lorenzi's going. Wittmann's not in the lobby, so it might just be you today. Which is a shame, but... oh, the horse... Yeah. We'll just do with it anyway. Fabuki, who's the only one that could be bothered to go to the interviews. Anyway, how was the race from your perspective then?
Not too bad.
I believe... yeah. Were you aware that you were near Raiden in the championship heading into this one? Because you were heading into the race, you were second in the championship by 8 points. And
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, hi there, Enzo. Yeah. Well, after that race, by my calculations, Fabuki are now only 5 points behind him in the championship. So, just say you're very much in the title fight so far. Also, I think your team is leading the team's championship still. Yeah. But you beat Raiden, and I think he beat Ruti, which were the Red Bull drivers, so... All in all, good. Should be, yep. But yeah, another great race, which yet again went down to the wire, and you said it wasn't going to be a good race. You said in Bathurst it won't be a good race, and then we had this. Right. Lorenzo, you speaking? Lorenzi? Right, well, yes, well done. Right, well, I think we'll just end it there then. But yeah, no. It is Maggiore. which should be good. It's an interesting choice. Yeah. So we'll end it there then. Well done, everyone, and we'll see you next time.